Hello everyone, and welcome to another Destiny 2 Warlock build. After giving it a lot of thought about what build to do, I started thinking that, what would be nice? Something that works with no matter what I change to, no matter what weapons I'm using, no matter how I want to play the game, it'll work no matter what I'm doing. It'll work in PvP, it'll work in raids, it'll work in hunts, in seasonal content, nightfalls, activities, such as public events, and just roaming around. So I came up with this build. We'll call it the Warlock Universal build. This build does not rely on weapons, and it does not rely on your subclass. You can be any subclass you want to be. You can use whatever weapons you want to use, and this build will be viable no matter what. You'll notice that even my stats are not that high, except for my intelligence is at a rank 8. Other than that, these are pretty mediocre stats. To start our build off, we're going to use Eyes of Another World. On Eyes of Another World, we're going to be using either Supercharged, or you can swap this out with Global Reach. Supercharged allows you to keep more stacks of light on you, which will play good into getting your super back quicker. Additionally here, the only other thing to take into consideration is Ashes to Assets. This is going to allow us to gain more super energy on grenade kills. On our hands, I'm using Taking Charge, so that when I pick up Orbs of Power, I gain a Charge of Light. Additionally, the only required other mod here is Impact Induction. Causing damage with our melee attack is going to reduce our grenade cooldown. On my body piece, I'm using Stacks on Stacks. It's going to allow me to gain an extra stack of Charge of Light when I gain a stack. So when I pick up 1 Orb of Light, I'm really picking up 2. The other thing I have here is melee resistance, reducing incoming damage from combatants that are at point blank range. This will allow me to be a little more tanky when I'm being rushed by a bunch of adds. Next, we're using Reactive Pulse. While charged with light, when you take damage while surrounded by enemies, you will emit a burst of arc damage. So you'll see how that's going to play in. So we have stacks on stacks, and if there's only 1 orb around, I pick up that orb, I have 2 stacks, and then I'm surrounded by a bunch of enemies, that's going to kick out that arc charge. I'm still going to have 1 charge left. Additionally here, since I have another arc mod in place, I'm also going to gain a power overshield when performing my finisher. So you're going to see in the gameplay, when I do finishers, my bar instantly fills up and I'll be protected from incoming damage while I'm doing a finisher. And that's going to get me out of a lot of sticky situations. Invigoration is another mod I'm going to have on here. I'm going to say this is going to be a mandatory. This is going to reduce the melee cooldown each time I pick up an Orb of Light. Additionally, each time I pick up an Orb of Light, I'm also going to reduce all of my ability cooldowns with Absolution. On my class item, I'm using Void, and then I'm going to go with Energy Converter. While charged with light, using your grenade attack grants you super energy, consuming all stacks of charge with light. The more stacks you have, the more energy you gain, up to a maximum of 50% of your super energy. Additionally, I'm going to have Disruption on here. Reduces all ability cooldowns when using your class ability near enemies. And then Perpetuation. Reduces class ability cooldown when using your class ability. So you see, all the mods I'm using are reducing the cooldown of my abilities, which is making up for me having these low stats. I may have these low stats, but with the mods I'm using, it's going to allow me to make up for it. Now, again, I said here, you could swap out Supercharged with Global Reach, and this is still viable. So this is when you use your grenade attack. Now, that doesn't have to be you actually throwing your grenade and doing damage with it. You could also consume the grenade and it will still give you the stacks to your super. And that's why this is viable no matter what class you're on. If you're Void and you're using Bottom Tree, Devour, this works perfectly. As you'll see in some of my gameplay. If you watch carefully in some of my gameplay, you'll see me doing this. You'll see me consume a grenade and get a quarter of my super back by doing so. So with all that being said, here's some gameplay to see this build in action. I want to thank you all for joining. Thank you all for checking this build out. Again, this is a build you're going to be able to take anywhere, and I really hope you guys enjoy it. Let me know in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Ring the bell for notifications. If you want to enjoy more content, you can join me on Twitch, and you can check the calendar for dates and times for Destiny 2 streams and more on that channel. Thank you once again, and enjoy.
Bank those moats, hotshot. Light or dark, we all gotta get paid.